You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
This episode of Breaking Down the Ring is brought to you by Chawla Legal Group Estate Planning. Estate planning is for everyone. Whether you're worth $4,000 or $40 million, estate planning can help protect you, your family, and your assets while you're alive and well. Damn. To register for an upcoming workshop today, go to chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157. Again, that's chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157.
What the rock is cooking.
What the fuck is up, everybody? Happy Sunday. It's the holiday, the final holiday push, getting into Christmas. And we're here. We got a lot to talk about. There was a great pay-per-view last night. There will hopefully be a great pay-per-view tonight. Everything as usual with NXT, Raw, SmackDown, AEW. There was a Ring of Honor pay-per-view Friday. We got all of it. It's all coming at you today as we
break the ring down.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
The cream rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list. This right here is a family.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is The Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The F Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
When you're listening...
And you're listening to...
You listen to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Break it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
You are listening to the most inappropriate pro wrestling podcast in the mother fucking world. You're listening to Breaking Down the Ring, and we are your ring crew.
Smitty.
And I am Nick. Just Nick today. How y'all doing?
It's not a good question to ask me.
How y'all doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, baby. Yeah, man. There was a lot going on this weekend. So far. The weekend isn't even over.
3 pay-per-views in 1 weekend.
Man. And then, not to mention the regular shit that we watch every single week.
Yep.
You know, let's start first. I want to talk about NWA. I want to talk about Into the Fire.
Stop, because that song gets stuck in everybody's head. I swear that song gets stuck in everybody's head whenever it comes on.
To the fire.
I'm falling.
I've had coffee this morning. Usually when I host, I don't have any coffee for some reason. I'm kind of like, hey, you're listening to...
Hey. So Nick at one tit's got 2 tits out today.
Mm-hmm. I got them both out. Yeah.
Mardi Gras.
Last night, NWA had its first pay-per-view, Into the Fire. If you watched it on Fight TV, you got a really good deal going into it. If you pre-ordered it, I unfortunately missed that because, you know, I don't fucking take advantage of things when I need to.
I tried to win a contest.
I take it you did not.
I did not.
But you were one of the final 3.
Yeah. I got a nice little message from NWA Podcast on my Twitter. So.
Well, you know, at least you can say that you were in the finals.
I can say at least I tried.
Yeah, Fight TV last night. And what was cool is That was the first pay-per-view I've ever ordered off of them, and actually I ended up getting half-back credit towards my next purchase. So that means the next thing I buy will, if it's going to be the next NWA pay-per-view.
Which is supposed to be February. I think it's supposed to be January or February?
January 24th.
Yeah, and they're introducing a television title again?
Hold on, man.
I'm sorry.
You're jumping the gun.
Sorry, man.
But yeah, I'm going to get half off of that one, so that's cool. Anyway, Into the Fire, last night. Great pay-per-view. Great first pay-per-view for a company that's really been hot. Coming out of the gate, people are talking about them, people are watching them, people are tweeting about them, people are just really into the NWA scene right now. So, yeah, man, really good stuff. We kicked things off. We had a solid card, nothing too long, nothing too short. We kicked things off with Eli Drake and Ken Anderson.
Hold on, you gotta put the personality in there. It's Eli Drake and
Mr. Anderson.
much better.
Thank you. Yeah, really good way to kick off the pay-per-view. We haven't really seen Eli Drake featured too much just yet. So it was a good match for him, and they both, they pulled everybody in right away. Eli Drake got the win. There was one point where Eli Drake mad hops that he just straight up jumped right to the top rope. Just ran and jumped to the top.
Oh, yeah, for somebody as big as he is?
Yeah. And he ended up getting the roll-up on Ken Anderson to get the win. Yeah, great way to kick off the pay-per-view.
And that was the one match I was looking forward to.
Yeah. I'm a fan of both of these guys, and even a little more now, Eli Drake. And I think maybe a part of it was the fact that he did retweet me last night, so that was kind of cool. No, but I like his character. I like his the promos that he cuts. He seems very natural on the mic.
See, so the thing about Eli Drake is I became a fan of Eli Drake after he left the WWE system. He had a good run in Impact. And this is around the time when Impact really they had guys, but they just didn't have a platform to really shine like they do right now.
I didn't know he was in WWE.
He was with NXT under a different name.
Gotcha.
Just like EC3 was on, I think it was around the same time EC3 was there.
Deli Lake.
No, I could look it up right now.
No, it's okay. Well, so yeah, I mean, they put on a good show to open the pay-per-view. Before I move any further, we do have somebody new on commentary for NWA, by the way. Smitty, did you happen to catch that?
Oh, I knew that because they announced it on Power.
Yep. And
there's some really bad news out there.
What?
Stupid, it's on commentary.
I liked him on commentary.
Oh, no, the bad news thing was that was his gimmick.
What?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Oh. Was it?
Yeah,
That's
bad
funny.
news Barrett.
Well, Stu Garrett.
Stu Bennett.
Whatever. He's on commentary now on NWA, and he did do a good job.
So is he a permanent thing there, or was he just a one-off for the pay-per-view?
I don't know. I think it could be a permanent thing. There was a little bit of an uproar because a lot of people are fans of him in the ring and they want to see him perform. But he was good on the mic. His voice for me is a little bit creepy. He's really low toned, which is fine.
Low tone, kind of brooding.
But it has like this weird. I can't even get. It's like a.
You sound like Kermit.
Yeah,
you know that, right?
I don't know. I'm
Rainbow Connection.
It's not easy being green. I can't repeat what he's doing, but it was a little weird, but it's still good. He still did a really good job. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if he's going to continue on Power. And
he'd be a good name value to bring people in.
Yeah, and I think the chemistry between him and Joe Galley worked really well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Next, we had Thunder Rosa and Tasha Steelz. This match, I think this was announced last minute because I
it was announced Friday.
Yeah. So, and Thunder Rosa did have the potential to team up with Melina in her tag match. It was either
Marty Bell.
It was one of the two between Marty Bell and Thunder Rosa. We're going to team with Melina, but Thunder Rosa, obviously, in the singles match with Tasha Steelz, and she pretty much whipped her ass. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because they announced that Tasha Steelz was going to make her debut at Into the Fire sometime, like on Monday.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, I believe it was, or Thursday or Friday, they announced that it was going to be her versus Thunder Rosa. And that's because I think that was more so they did that on purpose to keep people speculating who was going to be teaming up against Allison Kay in that tag match.
I think it worked out well. I liked the fact that they put Thunder Rosa in a singles match. Because, again, she whooped this chick's ass, and she was there. It seemed like a couple of stiff shots. She's really over with the crowd. I saw quite a few Thunder Rosa shirts. It worked for me.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think she does like MMA on the side too.
Yeah, they in a couple of her promo videos, they had showed her previous career in MMA. I'm not sure which.
She did some work with AAA and CMLL as well.
Yeah, so she's got some experience, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see where she's going. Yeah, man. Shout out to Bob who wants to see my boobs. Apparently, you have to wait. At some point in the show, I might just whip them out. Well, the one out anyway. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, one's bigger than the other.
Yeah, and we'll let you guess which one.
Yeah, $5.99. Hashtag Smitty's Meats.
Promo code 1boob on Smitty's Meats today for 25% off. Then we moved on to the question mark, defeating Trevor Murdoch. Question mark came out with Aaron Stevens in his corner in a gi, karate gi, karate, with the flag of fuck if I can remember the country. Mongrovian flag was the country. The Monrovia. It was a pretty good match. Question mark, obviously one of the most over guys for NWA right now, and
it's probably the goofiest thing in the whole company right now. He's the most over.
And you know what?
Wrestling can be fun still.
Yeah, and some people that really don't watch too much wrestling, that just kind of glance at it every now and then, like, they may look at, that's kind of, corny or whatever. But you know what? You got to look past that. Just take it. It's just a character. It's just a gimmick. Who fucking cares? But, he works well in the ring.
It's like Joey Ryan. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of fun, a little comic relief. And I personally like the character. I didn't think I was going to at first because the first promo that I saw with that, like, Russian chick kind of doing some...
Kind of typical.
Yeah, it was a little weird. But regardless, it is definitely over, and he did get the win over Trevor Murdoch. Do you think we're going to end up finding out who question mark is? I mean, we all pretty much know that it's Josephus, but
I think he'll be unmasked eventually, but I don't think I think they're going to hold on to this gimmick as long as they're having fun with it.
Yeah, why not? Just keep it going.
Just keep it going as long as you can, but somebody when he's unmasked is going to kill, like, you're just going to kill the whole question mark thing. But
yeah, and I don't think people are going to get on board with Josephus as much as question mark.
Yeah.
Then we moved on to the Rock and Roll Express. Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton against the Wild Cards, Thomas Latimer and Royce Isaac. The Rock and Roll Express did end up winning this match to retain their NWA Tag Team Championships. The match actually was a solid match. One thing I thought was funny when they kept showing the image, of the two tag teams, promoting the match. You could see Robert Gibson's lazy eye really bad in the picture. It looked really funny. I just it's like the FedEx thing when you see the arrow between the E and the X. I could not stop looking at his lazy eye.
That bad for you?
Huh?
Say that bad for you? These guys been in the game for 30 years.
Well,
it's something I've learned to ignore.
Well, it just it just caught my eye. Yeah, it was a good match, and what really surprised a lot of people is the Canadian Destroyer that Ricky Morton hit in the middle of the match.
Dude, did you not see what he did at fucking what was that Full Gear?
I'm trying to. Oh yeah, when he did that
He
over
did
the
it
ropes.
did over the ropes at Full Gear. He hit Ortiz with it.
So that just proves to show that shows you that age ain't nothing but a fucking number, because these two dudes get in the ring and they do work still for their age.
They both 50. They're about 100 cumulatively.
Yeah, 105, 110. Then after the match, we saw Stu Bennett announcing the next NWA pay-per-view, which is going to take place January 24th, which is a Friday night. And they are reintroducing the NWA Television Championship. That title looked good, man. Looked good.
I think it's a little too soon to introduce a new title. You just started this kind of the NWA just came back, and you've already got 4 titles. You got the tag title, you got your women's title, you got your national title, and you got your world title. You already have enough titles without having that there yet.
Well,
I think they should just build a little something up before they try to introduce this title.
I agree a little bit to a point, but it really doesn't bother me. What bothered me more is when they did it in the show, because they introduced it and then they had Eli Drake come out and cut a promo, and Dave Marquez asked him, he's like, "So, are you going to be going for for this title?" And Eli Drake didn't even give a fuck. He didn't even answer the question. He just straight up went into something else. So it kind of, for me, it kind of took away the intrigue of that title. Like, oh, we're going to introduce this, and the whole.
And that's actually one of the original titles too.
Yeah, so you would think that might mean a little something, but I can also see where Eli Drake's coming from.
He said, "Fuck it up with the world title."
Yeah, so it just didn't flow together very well. Not really a big deal. But Eli Drake comes out, cuts a promo, and then Mr. Ken Anderson comes out and proceeds to beat the fuck out of Eli Drake, hitting him with a chair, wrapping his neck through the chair, hitting him while he's wearing the fucking chair as a necklace, hitting him in the post, and he really, bless you. Oh shit! Don't lose the headphone.
Oh, I had to dab, man. Had to hit the dab.
Dab.
People.
It was
I did it for the people.
It was a good segment. So that's obviously going to set up an ongoing feud, which is what a lot of promotions are failing to do now, are these, extended long-term storylines. So maybe we'll see something a little more with these two.
Just the biggest one. Everybody else is doing well with long-term storylines.
I don't know, man.
I said everybody else except the quote-unquote big dog.
Mm-hmm. I see what you did there. Moving on, we had Allison Kay and Melina and Marty Bell. So earlier in the night, when we had Thunder Rosa pinning Tasha Steelz, Ashley Vox came out to kind of assist at the end of the match, and Thunder Rosa ended up, it kind of looked like a disarmer, putting her in a submission and basically knocking out Ashley Vox for the match. So Allison Kay comes out. She doesn't got a partner. Oh, but wait. Yes, she does. And then all of a sudden,
bam!
OD fucking B shows up with flask in hand.
Oh, man, she's back. And she's back big time. Because she's also going to be at Hard to Kill for Impact in January.
So ODB doing a lot of work, and you know what? Good for her. She had we had the chance to interview ODB, for those of you that don't know it, StarCast this year in August, and she had her food truck out there with some amazing food, and
meat in the cup.
That meat in the cup was to die for. Unfortunately, a month or so later, her food truck had the unfortunate incident of catching fire and burning down to the ground. So
it was into the fire.
Literally. Was all the best to her. Hopefully, with the stuff she's doing for these different promotions now, she can get that truck back on track in the near future. Because trust me, dude, if you have a chance, that meat in a cup, seriously, was fucking on point.
The BDR endorsement for ODB's meet and greet.
So anyway, Allison Kay and ODB ended up getting the win over Melina and Marty Bell. All 4 chicks in this match look really good. ODB didn't have a whole lot of time in the ring, but she still looked good. Not great, but I'm cool with what they're doing with her, and I hope that we do see her more often in NWA because she is a force. She's a brick shithouse. You know what I mean?
Brick shithouse is something unique when it comes to women in wrestling.
Right.
Her character, her style, her in-ring style is something different.
And then after the match, her and Allison Kay proceeded to go over to the podium where Stu and Joe Galley were sitting, and they're trying to get them to do a shot, and Joe Galley's like, I'm not old enough.
Did he really say I'm not old enough?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was a good, solid match. And then from there, we had the triple threat match for the NWA National Championship. Aaron Stevens, Ricky Starks, and Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana, your champion. This match, it was a pretty good match. There was a little bit of comic relief at a few times. Aaron Stevens, obviously, with
hiding behind the tree.
At one point, he hid underneath the tree skirt for quite some time to leave Ricky Starks and Colt Cabana in the ring to do some work, and those two worked pretty well together. Ricky Starks is very over with the crowd right now, and I think he's one of the better talents that NWA has going currently.
He's one of those young talents they pulled off the indies too.
Yep, and he looks really good in the ring.
Big personality.
Aaron Stevens, nonetheless, he did end up winning that match and claiming the NWA National Championship.
Also, by the way, when you tweeted about his flesh-colored tights,
yeah,
they are weird.
It's
super fucking weird.
Super weird, flesh-colored. I mean, if you just glance at him, you'd swear the dude is fucking naked. I mean, whatever, if it's part of his whole gimmick.
No, the flesh-colored tights gotta go.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality. I mean, I'm not saying like...
No, it's just weird.
It's just weird, you know? So, from there, we went into the second half. They kind of considered it a double main event. The way that they were talking throughout the pay-per-view and the way they introduced that Ricky Starks match. But we ended up with Nick Aldis and James Storm in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Brian Hebner, one of the refs, the stipulation was that one man would choose one referee, the other man would choose the other, and then if it went to a third fall, then there would be a coin toss to determine the third referee. So James Storm ended up picking Brian Hebner for the first fall. The second fall, we saw
Tim Storm.
Who Nick Aldis picked to be the referee. And the match was a very good match. It started off a little slow, but the build-up was there. Whenever we have these 2 out of 3 falls matches, 9 out of 10 times it's going to the third fall. So that element is a little too predictable for me. It's not to say that I don't like the match, just a little too...
Well, the predictability there was cool because, once again, they said they got to choose the referees there.
Yeah, that part was fine. And then, I honestly expected Tim Storm. Did I say Tony Storm earlier?
No, you said Tim.
Okay, good.
You think about that ass.
Speaking of that, yeah, my girl even was like, damn, she's got a body.
You think about that ass.
No, so I expected Tim Storm to be in the third and final fall. And they did a coin flip, and Brian Hebner was picked to be that referee in the third fall. James Storm got James Storm got the first pin. Nick Aldis with the second pin, and then we went to the third fall and back and forth a little bit, and Nick Aldis ended up clotheslining Brian Hebner, which was completely incidental. I mean, it was not on purpose at all, but Stu fucking what's his nuts? Stu Bennett was insistent that it was on purpose, and he should be disqualified.
He should be disqualified.
With Hugh Jackman in that wallaby. But it was completely incidental, and ultimately, we
I
saw.
agree with Stu.
ultimately, we did see Tim Storm come back out and assist with the rest of the match. And Nick Aldis pulling the turnbuckle off in the corner ended up knocking out James Storm with that, getting the win. He actually put him in a sharpshooter thereafter, and James Storm just was basically out cold, and they called the match. So it would appear there was a little bit of controversy there, just the way the match ended. It was a little weird for some people I saw on social media. It wasn't really weird for me.
It's a heel victory.
It really is. And, the thing that I like about Nick Aldis is that he's a heel, but he's not like an in-your-face heel. He's like a sneaky heel.
He's one of those smug type heels, just like,
Like
I won. That's all that matters.
People like him, and not the way they like heels typically. I feel like it's a little different because I think he's a likable heel. I don't know.
So he's like us, a likable jackass.
Yeah. I mean, mostly Mikey, but...
Okay. He's kind of the face of our brand, I guess.
No, I'm just kidding. But, I mean, I don't know. I like the fact that they're keeping the title on him. I like his character. He gave Camille the night off. We did see her briefly, I think. I don't know. I was busy making a sandwich. But
you missed Camille break for our sandwich?
Well, it was like seconds because we had some chicken sandwiches last night.
Oh.
But so I'm in the kitchen and I turn and I see her and I'm like, I asked my girl, I'm like, oh, is she out there for the whole match? And my girl's like, oh, I'm not really paying attention. I'm like, shit. I didn't want to like rewind it. But so at any rate, Nick Aldis got the win, and then he goes over to Dave Marquez to cut a promo at the end, and then the lights go out. And, okay, here we go. Here's one more surprise for the night. And then, all of a sudden,
holy fucking shit.
It is the villain, Marty Scurll. Makes his debut with the NWA. Comes down to the ring, has a stare down with Nick Aldis, and then...
like a shrimp.
Yep. He really did. And then Nick Aldis just kind of bails and leaves, and he just has a look on his face like, who the fuck is this, or what are you doing here? And then Marty Scurll heads over to the podium to cut a promo, and like myself and many others, Fight TV had a glitch, and I was unable to see the promo. I went back and tried to watch the replay, and in the same time, every single time I tried to watch it, all of like 10 or 15 times, it just kept cutting out.
Might have to go ahead and watch it. Maybe on YouTube, maybe.
Yeah, it could be on YouTube. Might be on Power. They might show that. But apparently I was not the only person. There was a lot of viewers that had that issue. So little disappointed with that. But nonetheless, a good surprise for a lot of people. There's a lot of speculation that, he may have still signed with AEW and they have this option like they do with Moxley where he can go really work wherever he wants.
Well, that's what it's not just there. It's like, if you have an inclusive contract, most of the guys that, with AEW, they can work wherever they want to as long as they're fulfilling obligations and dates with AEW.
Yep. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. There's always going to be speculation on where this guy's going or that guy's going, or if he's going to work on this contract or if this is a one-time thing. Who fucking cares? Just wait and find out. You can speculate all you want. The fucking IWC, the internet wrestling community, a bunch of fucking know-it-alls. I mean, really.
One thing I said, we got to stop doing IWC because to a certain degree, we are part of the IWC.
No, but you know what? To me, there's a difference because the shit that people like you and Joe and Z and Mike, you guys all know a lot more about the whole wrestling as a whole than myself. And when you comment, they're educated opinions that actually hold merit and weight. But a lot of this shit that these other fucking people, they say, not just about Marty Scurll and his debut, but about a ton of other shit, it's just a bunch of fucking crybaby bullshit. So it's I don't know. It's not the internet wrestling community as a whole, and it's not because they say things that I disagree with. You can definitely say things that I disagree with. That's not the issue. Just a bunch of fucking crybabies. it just gets a little old. But at any rate, Into the Fire was awesome. If you didn't get a chance to see it, definitely head over to Fight TV and check it out, or find it, whatever you got to do to watch it. And then they are filming new episodes of Power starting today, I think through tomorrow. So their new season will kick off, I'm assuming, Tuesday. And we'll be in season 2 of Power. So I'm excited for that. Smitty, what'd you think? What'd you think of the pay-per-view?
I thought it was really good. I saw a couple I pretty much didn't have the opportunity to watch it live, so I pretty much had to watch the highlight reel. And I saw 1 or 2 matches that people like one thing the IWC does do very well. They like to leak some stuff, the day of or day after. And so I got a chance to see the Aldis match, and that was really good. I saw the triple threat, and that was good. The matches I wanted to see out of two of the matches I did want to see, I didn't get a chance to see. I wanted to see the Allison Kay, and I wanted to see the Eli Drake, Mr. Anderson match, but I didn't get the chance to see that one. But I'm probably gonna end up trying to just go ahead and buy it on Fight TV and watch it.
Didn't you see my message in the group?
Yeah.
I got you.
And so I just have to go ahead and watch the whole thing eventually.
Yeah, it was definitely a good first pay-per-view. And again, January 24th, Friday night.
And I saw the announcement.
Yep, Royal Rumble weekend. So that's going to be a huge weekend for wrestling fans.
Worlds collide.
Yeah, is that weekend too?
They're not doing a takeover. They're doing Worlds Collide instead.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's going to be NXT UK versus NXT UK.
Bro, that's a lot of fucking wrestling that week, man. All right, so moving on. Before we get into the main attractions, WWE, AEW, whatever. Well, for me, NWA is a main attraction, but Ring of Honor also had a pay-per-view on Friday night. Smitty, tell us about what happened on Friday, because there was a lot that happened, apparently.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened with Final Battle. Final Battle's the last pay-per-view for Ring of Honor every year. And they had a pretty stat card go on this. It started off with the pre-show. You had Josh Woods and Silas Young versus Joe Hendry and Dalton Castle. Joe Hendry was a big star in Progress for a while. Dalton Castle, Silas Young, Josh Woods are all like Ring of Honor kind of corn-fed guys.
Corn-fed.
Yeah. Big houses. And that match ended with Josh Woods and Silas Young going over.
Okay. On
a pre-show. And the show actually starts off with Kenny King and Rhett Titus, formerly what's the name of it? All Night Express. That's the name of they were in the stable together.
Okay.
Kenny King and Rhett Titus apparently are running a feud together. And Kenny King went over. Jeff Cobb defeated Dan Maff. And these are two big guys. Jeff Cobb was formerly a television champion, was a former Ring of Honor television champion until he lost it to Shane. What's his fucking name?
Come on,
Shane Taylor.
You know this.
Shane Taylor.
You know
Shane
this.
Taylor. Before Shane Taylor was television champ, Jeff Cobb was television champ. There's dissension in there was a lot of dissension in stables over in Ring of Honor lately. Another one, the big one, was the Kingdom. Matt Taven and Vincent of the Kingdom had a grudge match where Vince went over on Matt Taven.
What up, Tony Slavin?
And Matt Taven was a former Ring of Honor champion until he lost to Roosh. And to be honest, Roosh is a great in-ring talent, but Roosh has no personality.
Ugh.
And I'm sorry, that's part of the game now, of being a professional wrestler.
Oh, of course. You got
to have some kind of personality,
yes,
along with having some type of in-ring ability. In-ring ability does not get you. I'm not saying it can't happen, but they threw the championship on him, and it really took. He went nowhere with it. Bully Ray had a street fight with Mark Haskins, which Mark Haskins went over, and they kind of they apparently this feud this is one of the matches I watched the build up package for. They involved Mark Haskins' wife, Vicky, and that was pretty cool. So they actually did some good storytelling within a street fight, which I don't expect.
Right? Yeah, you don't really see that.
Good story in a street fight. After that, we had Alex Shelley versus Colt Cabana. And according to some reports, this was Colt Cabana's last hurrah with Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
And Alex Shelley won. Alex Shelley, Detroit boy. What's up?
Shout out.
Then you had a female match, Maria Manic versus Angelina Love with Amanda Leon of The Allure, which The Allure is pretty much the beautiful people with Amanda Leon. The Beautiful People is Angelina Love and Velvet Sky. Even though Velvet Sky is pretty much not in the ring as much anymore, she's out there like pretty much managing. But Maria Manic goes over on Angelina Love. And this makes me question, what are they going to do with that women's title now that they just fired Kelly Klein, who was at the time the active women's champion in the company?
Okay.
So then you go into the title matches here, which your first title match they had was Dragon Lee versus Shane Taylor for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. And Dragon Lee actually wins this is one of the there were a lot of major title changes. Pretty much all your major titles in the Ring of Honor changed hands. Besides every title except the women's and the 6-man titles change hands.
Damn. Now, what about the PCO match? The main event?
That's the main event. But we got one more match before.
Okay.
So Dragon Lee defeats Shane Taylor to become the new Ring of Honor Television Champion. This match was my favorite match on the card. Which is the one I was glad I got to catch this one. Which Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham versus the Briscoes for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. Mm-hmm. Big fan of Jay Lethal. Jonathan Gresham has been really growing on me. Great character. He's got this whole gimmick where he comes out with like this Kraken mask on. Mm-hmm. And the Briscoes dropped the titles to Gresham and Lethal. And it's good to see Lethal as a heel again.
Yeah.
Lethal is great as a face. Lethal is great as a heel. But I've not seen Lethal as a heel in almost 3-4 years now.
Okay.
And it was a good thing. Like, he just really just did the change like maybe like a little under a month ago. And him and Gresham were just feuding together. They were feuding, but kind of like Gresham was under his wing, and Gresham Gresham went full blown heel, and Lethal's like, "No, dude, you gotta. There's a better way to do this."
I like when dudes can play both sides of the fence like that. They can do a good heel, they can do a good face. You know, that's kind of hard to find nowadays.
Yeah, and Lethal's lately been like, yeah, I need some Ring of Honor gold, man. It's been too long since I've had gold. Mm-hmm. And he finally just pulled the trigger, went heel with Gresham, and now he and Gresham are tag team champions.
Nice.
So, and in the main event, we had Jeff Cobb again. We had Roosh versus PCO for the Ring of Honor World Championship. PCO's gotten super over the last couple months, just from the antics of him. Just Brian Cage calls himself the Terminator, and Kenny Omega does the whole Terminator thing, but the real fucking Terminator in professional wrestling is PCO. That man takes a beating and keeps getting up.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, between you and Joe, you've talked a lot about PCO and some of the matches that he's put on this year. Just within the last 12 months, I feel like I've heard you and Joe 3 or 4 times, like, that fucking PCO match.
Yeah, PCO's he's the real machine in professional wrestling right now. Yeah. And he's in the twilight of his career at this point. The guy's in his, I think, like late 40s, early 50s at this point.
Oh, yeah. And
he's been around for a minute.
Yep, and those of you that don't know, I mean, he was in WWF back in the day as a member of the Mounties.
Yes, and the PCO just... that match was really hard hitting, and PCO actually ends in the end. Comes out in the end as the new world champion for Ring of Honor. And these guys, like, they beat the tar out of each other, dude.
What kind of match was it?
I think it was no disqualification if I remember correctly, because there were tables and ladders and all kinds of shit.
We'll have to go back and I'll have to go back and check that out.
Yeah, because I need to go back because I was kind of had it on in the background, and I just kind of was watching.
So overall, really good pay-per-view.
A really good pay-per-view. There was, I thought like some of the matches in the beginning kind of were kind of slow paced, but those Ring of Honor matches they're fought like most Indian New Japan matches where they start off slow and then they pick up.
Yeah,
some of them you get into, some of them you don't. Like the Rhett Titus and Kenny King. I'm a Kenny King fan. I'm a Kenny King fan, but that was not the best work for Kenny King in my mind. Okay. Even though him and Rhett Titus have worked together for years as a tag team, they've actually feuded before at some point or another. But this just wasn't. They have good chemistry. That match wasn't the best one I've seen from.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Angelina Love has come a long way from. Well, Angelina Love has always been a decent wrestler, but she's come a long way from what she was doing when she was at Impact.
Yeah. I mean, definitely check out Ring of Honor
Final Battle.
And it sounds like Ring of Honor needs a lot of help right now. Needs all the help they can get, keep fans interested, and
with Marty Scurll, this whole Marty Scurll thing,
and Colt Cabana
being gone. Marty Scurll, right now, Marty Scurll is part of the 6-man champion. Like, Villa Enterprise still hold the Ring of Honor 6-man championships right now.
Yeah.
So Scurll probably has. Well, he's still got a couple weeks on this contract still, or is it till the end of the year?
I think I think I saw that it was until the end of December.
So we're going to probably see them lose those titles in a minute, the 6-man titles. But to who?
I thought I read that it was over already.
It may be over already, but they probably just haven't aired it yet.
But, yeah, I don't know. Again, one of those things we got to wait and see.
There's so much stuff in the air, like the 6-man titles, the women's title in the Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. It was like Joe talked about how AEW kind of robbed Ring of Honor and New Japan, but like, hey, everybody's kind of picking a talent pool everywhere. Yeah. NWA's picking a talent pool everywhere too. You just can't just blame AEW at this point.
So to move on, we do got to talk about the week that was. I want to start with Raw. And fuck.
Raw and SmackDown both were just really mad go-homes.
Well,
into a pay-per-view.
Raw started out shit. The Rusev and Lana divorce, it was very
brutal.
Hard to watch television. It went on for way too long. Lana, and I know that there's a lot of people like, oh, if the character's annoying or if you hate him, then they're doing something right. And I can agree with that to a point, but when it makes me want to change the channel, that's not doing something right. And it made me want to change it. I almost was like, fuck this, I'll come back to it, whatever. Because Raw is already a chore to watch as it is. So to put this as your opening segment, it was a struggle.
I really feel like WWE at that point just said, let's just get this segment out the way because we know everybody hates it.
Which is disappointing because I like Rusev. I like his character and what they're doing with him now. It's a bummer, man. It really is.
This makes Lashley and Lana both just look stupid and makes Lashley look incompetent as a character in general.
Lashley already has a hard time getting over one way or another. He already has a hard time. He always has, in my eyes.
Within the WWE.
Right. But, then you do this, and it's just kind of like, fuck my life. Ultimately,
is it because of the way he talks? Because he speaks with proper grammar and inflection?
No, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
They put him with Leo Rush. They put him with Lana. They put him with McIntyre and Shane McMahon's little stable thing, whatever the fuck they were calling it.
I just feel like his character is never believable as, you know what I mean? It just,
as a menace?
As what?
As a menace? The guy's what, 6'6", 2% body fat?
Just when he speaks, like, he seems fake. To me.
That's annoying.
So, at any rate, they're getting divorced. We're going to see Lashley and Rusev in a table match tonight at TLC, which we'll get to later. We ended up Drew McIntyre and Matt Hardy in a squash match. Drew McIntyre talked a little bit of shit about Matt Hardy's family and called him a terrible father and all kinds of shit, and then ended up proceeded to beat the fuck out of him. Raw Tag Team Championship match between the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. I am a Street Profits fan. Didn't expect them to go over, but
probably the best match on Raw.
Yeah, it was one of the better matches of the night. The Viking Raiders obviously are on a roll as these tag team champions. We did end up seeing Kevin Owens. He called out the Authors of Pain. Before that, he ended up seeing Rey Mysterio in the back, and Rey gave him the lead pipe, aluminum pipe, steel pipe,
pipe with tape,
titanium pipe, whatever, some kind. He laid pipe is what he did.
Laid pipe to Kevin Owens.
Came out to the ring, calling out the Authors of Pain, and Seth Rollins came out. Really,
did he come out when he came out to the ring? When Rollins was in the ring, he came out.
Yeah, the other way around. Yeah. But ultimately,
Sami Zayn and fucking Mojo Rawley.
Seth Rollins is still denying at this point that he has anything to do with the AOP. Sami Zayn and Mojo Rawley did come out there and
random as fuck.
Huh?
Random as fuck. That was just. It's also the fact that they tried to explain why Sammy was on Raw.
Right, and it's like, okay, well, now you're starting to throw out that whole
brand separation thing.
Right, there was really no. You could just have Mojo Rawley come out for fuck's sake. I mean, either way. But why did you have to have Sami Zayn out there, literally for no reason?
They tried to give him a reason.
It didn't
That's
work.
when they give him a mic.
Didn't work.
He said, even though I'm a SmackDown superstar, I have a managerial contract which allows me to come here every now and again.
Dumb. Kevin Owens beat the crap out of Mojo with the bat or with his pipe or whatever.
No, he didn't. He just threw the pipe to him and stunned him.
Yeah. No, he did hit him a couple times with it after he stunned him. He hit him in the back.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And that's when AOP. Then went in search of AOP after that.
Then went in search of AOP. Then we had Aleister Black and Akira Tozawa. The match was just kind of
short and sweet.
There, Aleister Black going over again. The black mask that he hit at the end of the match was a really good shot.
Solid one.
Man, they replayed it and Tozawa's face went into a fucking time warp. Yeah. So this is leading us to a Aleister Black and
Buddy
Murphy match this weekend.
Possibly the TLC show stealer, honestly.
Could be. We had Andrade and Humberto Carrillo. This match was pretty solid, actually. This was another one of those matches that were one of the better matches on the cards. And honestly, the Latin talent in WWE, all of WWE, are really making a name for themselves as of late. They're always just kind of there, but you see a lot of like the Lucha House Party, and there isn't too many of those Latin stars that are, and they perform well in the ring. So it's nice to see these two.
Actually, they probably had the best shot. They has. This is probably no. Humberto Carrillo. Sorry, where they have him right now.
Yeah, and Carrillo ended up getting the win. He actually Andrade ran into Zelina Vega, who was up on the ropes trying to create a distraction. But Carrillo ended up getting the win.
And it's Andrade's first loss on Raw.
Yep.
They kept having to drive that one in.
Previously undefeated on Raw. For what, 2 months?
Yeah, about 2-3 months.
Right.
Two and a half, 3 months. Yeah.
Buddy Murphy and Zack Ryder followed that match. Buddy Murphy got the win. I expected a little more out of this one, but it was just another filler.
No, I didn't. It's Zack Ryder. Sorry. What is Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins?
But Zack Ryder, for me, he's not that bad in the ring. And
no, it's not.
And Buddy Murphy's good, so I was hoping maybe they would have a little more chemistry than they did, and it didn't work out.
But it was literally a showcase match.
Yeah.
Whenever you see Zack Ryder or Kurt Hawkins, it's a showcase match for whatever guys they're in there with. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins are glorified jobbers.
Yeah, and they will continue to do so.
But that chick is fat.
Then we had Seth. Kevin Owens was in the back trying to find AOP, and he found him.
He found the rape van.
He found the rape van, and he proceeded to lay his pipe onto it, and it didn't work out in the end because AOP was right there to utterly dismantle him. And then the back door of the van opens, and out comes Mr. Seth freaking Rollins. Surprise!
It goes back to the outside to the ramp.
Yep.
Another promo.
What do you think about Seth and the AOP?
You just juiced up J&J Security. It's Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yeah. I can't help but think about Toka and Razor.
It's Akam and Razor?
Yeah.
So what Akam and Razor like it's like J&J Security, but it's like Rocksteady and Bebop, like literally it's like the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Like Seth Rollins is Shredder and Rocksteady and Bebop are Razor and Akam.
I don't really mind it.
I don't mind it because J&J Security made Seth a great heel when his original championship run.
And it seems like he needs people with him to go over one way or another.
As a heel.
Yeah. I think he was briefly over as a face, but that just eventually over time just kind of kept taking a step down and a step down, you know.
I think Jim Ross said it the best. One day you'll be over as your girlfriend.
One day. So yeah, then Seth Rollins came out to cut a very angry promo.
But the truth is not good enough for you, so now your conjecture is now reality.
And there you go. We have a new stable established with the AOP and Seth Rollins. I don't know where we're going to go with that. I mean, obviously, we're going to continue with the feud with Kevin Owens.
Poor KO.
Yeah. We ended up with Becky Lynch against the Kabuki Warriors in a handicap match because Becky Lynch was approached by Charlotte to take on the Kabuki Warriors for the titles, and Becky Lynch basically gave her the middle finger. And ultimately, Becky Lynch did get the win, but it was by disqualification.
Protect the champ.
That's right. You got to protect that champ. The match actually was pretty good. I felt it was better than the Charlotte Kabuki Warriors match.
I think they were on par, honestly.
Yeah.
They were honestly on par with each other.
Both teams look strong. I think the Kabuki Warriors are working really well as a tag team. I hope they don't split them up like
let's put it like this. They won't split them up because they will not have anything else for them after that.
Right.
It's the same. Like right now, they're in the same position as Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss are in right now. You take them apart from each other, you have nothing for either of them unless you have a feud against each other.
Now, this is going to lead into a ladder match at tonight's.
I thought it was TLC.
Is it TLC?
I thought it was TLC. I know the tag championship on SmackDown are on the ladder match.
Yeah, it is. Nope, You're right. Yep, it's a TLC match.
Okay.
Which
this be the first women's tag team TLC match.
I'm all about it.
Once again, Charlotte gets another first on pay-per-view.
Yep. That's honestly one of the matches I'm looking more forward to tonight. But we'll get into that. We saw Eric Rowan against some fucking guy and some local competitor. Eric Rowan squashed him. I really don't give two shits about this Eric Rowan storyline. No,
what's in the knapsack?
For a minute, I was wondering what's in there, but now I'm just kind of like, okay, now I really don't care anymore.
This unmasked, like let's just see it now.
And you know, he had a good thing going with Daniel Bryan, and even maybe just after that, but then they killed him with this. You know,
with the draft.
Yeah, they made him look like he could be a bit of an intellectual with Daniel Bryan, and then he started cutting. He had a decent promo or two, and now he just looks like a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
But at any rate, then we moved on to United States Championship match. Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles. Mysterio pin Styles. Pretty solid match. We did see Randy Orton
tease at first.
Yeah, and he had a very funny look on his face that he was going to do an RKO to AJ Styles. That didn't happen. But then Raw ended very abruptly. Apparently there was a timing issue. It just kind of cut out, but whatever. It's fucking Raw.
Yeah, we didn't do no RKOs out of nowhere.
Moving on to later in the week, we can go with SmackDown. SmackDown this past Friday night. Again, for me, SmackDown is the superior show right now between Raw and SmackDown. Just between the two. I know you don't agree.
I think they're both just equally just meh.
I wouldn't say that SmackDown is anything amazing, but it's definitely the better show. And
I give you that.
Shorty G and Ali opened up the show, and I'm sorry, they did not open up the show. What am I thinking? King Corbin and Dolph Ziggler came out to cut a promo at the beginning of the night, talking about what they did to Roman Reigns the previous week. Covering him in dog food and chaining him to the ring post and all that.
Then the New Day come out. Yeah.
New Day came out to ultimately challenge. Kofi was getting in King Corbin's face and slapped the fuck out of him.
Because he brought up the whole Lesnar thing.
So, yeah, that set up Kofi and King Corbin to close out the night. The promo was a little lackluster for me. Not a very, exciting way to.
It was leading up to the whole TLC at of Corbin. It was supposed to be built up for TLC Corbin Reigns.
And Corbin, had indicated that he had all the doors and all the shit covered throughout the whole arena, and so Roman wouldn't be there. He wouldn't even get close to him or some garbage.
Roman just tearing through everybody throughout the whole night.
Yeah. And yeah, we did see a locker room segment with Corbin and Ziggler, where the locker room was destroyed, and there was another part of the arena that was destroyed. Oh, I wonder what happened. Shut the fuck up. You know what happened. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss ended up defeating
Fire and Desire.
Mandy. This match was another one that just was fodder.
It was there.
Yep. We don't have anything to drink, but we'll. There we go.
Proverbial.
We had Shorty G and Ali versus the Revival. Now we had that match.
Wait, dude, I think the highlight of SmackDown was the fact that Dash, what was it, Wilder?
Yeah.
Like literally tripped over his own 2 feet during her entrance.
I had to replay that a couple times because I couldn't believe what I saw. And yeah, he tried to walk out, and
Dash Wilder
spin backwards.
Yeah.
Tripped right over that octagon-looking display on the entrance ramp. And it was funny because you could see him laughing it off, and Scott Dawson laughed it off a little bit. And,
oh, no, and Ali lost his shit in the ring.
So that was funny. And, to me, stuff like that makes him human, obviously. And, it's funny. I like when stuff like that happens because they're not expecting it. And people gave him shit about it. It's like, come on.
What's Vince Man's motto? Nothing go wrong when it's live.
Yeah. I mean, who fucking cares? This was one of the better matches of the night, though. The Revival did get the win over Ali and Shorty G. And anytime the Revival,
you got to build momentum into TLC.
Yeah, when these guys are in the ring, you're gonna see a good match. Even Ali and Shorty G, I think they're working really well together as a tag team. So, Dana Brooke and Bayley, we had a segment with Elias. Bayley was getting interviewed, and then Elias was there to cut a new song for Bayley. And
so is Elias a face or a heel right now?
He's kind of a tweener, if you ask me.
Yeah, because his segment with Maverick last week was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
The segment he had this week with Bayley was funny.
I don't recall the exact lyrics of his song, but there was mention of a threesome with him and Sasha Banks and Bayley, and about how Bayley's haircut makes her look like a
dude.
Boy. Yeah, like a dude. If you can find it, definitely check it out because it was funny. It was one of the funnier spots of the night. Bayley ended up defeating Dana Brooke because Dana Brooke's been hanging out with Elias lately, and she
has a dinner date with Dave Bautista.
Yeah, she sure does.
Is that why they're featuring her so much? Because Dave Bautista's going to the Hall of Fame?
Maybe.
That's something we got to mention, too. The first members of the 2020 Hall of Fame have been announced this week.
We'll talk about that after SmackDown. Then we had a Renee Young interview with The Miz in The Miz's home about family being the most important thing to The Miz, and then all of a sudden you had Maurice, who had the camera in the baby's room, and you see a couple of the characters of the Firefly Funhouse in the crib, and then the flashback, there were a couple more there, so you see both of them haul ass up to the baby's room, and, she's there, and she's fine. She had some weird fucking doll in there, and they asked the camera crew to leave, and it was a good segment. I actually don't really mind this whole Miz Bray Wyatt. Yeah, let's make sure we're clear. This isn't the Miz and the Fiend. This is Miz and Bray Wyatt. You saw a picture of Bray Wyatt and Maurice and Monroe, and
there's no place like home for the holidays.
So I do like this angle for now. We'll have to see how it pays off tonight.
I actually believe that. I think the Miz actually goes. Oh, we'll talk about this in a minute.
Yep. Heavy Machinery and Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro were in a match. Nakamura getting the win with Cesaro.
See, I hated this. I really did hate this. I love tag team wrestling, and you just slap Cesaro in there with Nakamura. I get Nakamura's Intercontinental champion. You want to make him look strong and everything, but Heavy Machinery's a legit tag team.
Yeah.
Having them lose the way they had lost, it's unfair to that whole division.
Well, yeah, because again, Cesaro and Shinsuke are not a tag team. They're just kind of hanging out, And
with Sami Zayn,
right? Yeah, I really didn't care for it either. I thought the ham part was funny, where they tried to give Sami Zayn a ham for Christmas, and he's like, "I'm vegan," and.
And I remember what Otis ends up with it.
Yeah, well, then Cesaro ended up throwing it onto the ground. Yeah, that part was funny, but the match, I could have did without that. Kofi Kingston and King Corbin ended up turning into a tag team match because,
obviously,
there was a lot going on the outside with interference and such. Corbin and Ziggler ended up chaining Kofi Kingston to the ring post and attempted to get some dog food on him. Then Roman Reigns obviously coming to his rescue.
Put Ziggler through a table.
Put Ziggler right through a table from the ladder, right?
Yeah.
And it was a good way to end the night. I think that leads into, it was a good way to continue that storyline into the pay-per-view. There was a little bit of outrage by some people, especially I think it was in particular Scott Sapp he was on Twitter. He's always tweeting from Fightful, I think. And he did not like the fact that what's happening right now at WWE between Jordan Miles and now you're going to take Kofi Kingston and put him onto a ring post. A lot of people are,
I kind of was just like, I just did one of those really things. Like, really?
About the whole...
more about having Kofi chained up like that. I'm like, really?
Well, they did it to Roman the week before.
No, I get why they did it, but like the Jordan Miles thing is still fresh.
Yeah.
It's still a fresh mark on WWE's right now. So, like, this, like, it's like, really?
So, it bothered you then?
Not in a way like Jordan Miles would kind of like. It was more like you guys still have this Jordan Miles thing, not completely. So yeah, he's not with the company anymore, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then you just chained up a black man who's really not having the greatest thing since losing that championship.
Yeah.
His run lately has not. Oh, okay, that was just Mikey. So it's like he's not had, like, since Kofi's lost that title, he's not had the best run. Yes, he's a tag team champion right now, and part of that is because I think they really meant for that to be Xavier if Xavier didn't get hurt.
Yeah,
he's not had the best run since losing that championship.
No, and
this is what
it's
I
not
fear.
Not gonna get any better.
Yeah, that did not make the WWE look good and not make like Kofi look good. It was just like, really?
Yeah.
And like my real was more so like, why are you doing this to Kofi?
Right.
Not. I get the story you're trying to build here. We did it to Roman. We're going to do it to Kofi. These are two former champions.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see what they do with that. Maybe they'll do something with that with the pay-per-view. I don't know. Overall, SmackDown, just another week, another show. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was just, there.
Well, go-home shows, like both shows were just super meh.
Yeah.
And also, TLC didn't have any real build-up until these shows. It's like they slapped the show together.
Before we get into TLC, I do want to talk about NXT and AEW just a little bit. NXT was another really good match, another good night.
They tied in ratings this week.
Let's talk about that before we talk about them. So AEW and NXT, Wednesday Night War. Literally, from the numbers that I've seen, 778,000 for NXT, 778,000 for AEW. The one thing AEW had on them, they NXT in most of the demographic categories, which it's still a tie. But it's interesting that they actually tied.
Yeah, AEW is getting a younger demographic.
Yes, and that to me is bad news for WWE because their demographic over the last few years has just been getting older and older and older. They're not attracting newer crowds. So then that leads into 10 years from now, where are you going to be? If you're not going to get new people into this or the younger generations, where are you going to be at?
Stop thinking about toy sales and think about your goddamn product.
Right. But yeah, nonetheless, they did tie. Raw's numbers actually dropped from last week. Raw ended up doing an average of 2.1 million viewers, which was down from the week before at 2.2, so not a huge drop. And then SmackDown's ratings, they actually did okay this week, doing 2.3 million viewers, but there was no college football on. There was no, Christmas specials or anything like that. So they've been hovering around that 2.3.
In other words, they're floating. SmackDown floated water this week.
Yep, they just kind of treaded along. Raw dropped, and then AEW NXT.
They did kind of drop, but still, the fact that they dropped, it doesn't matter if they dropped. Nobody had an edge this week,
and I don't think that we're going to see either one of them get a significant edge for a long time. I don't foresee either one going over 1 million viewers anytime inside the next 6 months.
Maybe 4.
I don't. Just the way that they're trending, I just can't see it.
I'm saying 3-4 because there's a takeover coming up within the next couple months, and there's a new AEW pay-per-view coming up in a couple months.
We'll see. NXT results. So NXT, they have a habit of opening the show with a bang. And they did it again this week. You had Angel Garza and Lio Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
Another great match.
These two guys had a Cruiserweight title match, I don't know, it was close to a month ago maybe. And
actually about a month ago.
And it was really good. And this one was nothing short of the same.
And they had another match on 205 like 2 weeks ago as well.
So I'm actually on board with Angel Garza. I think he's a good character. His in-ring work is really good. And
I believe he's related to Humberto Carrillo as well.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, nonetheless, he is your new NXT Cruiserweight champion, getting the win over Lio Rush.
Can I just say shout out to Lio Rush because he had a really good run as Cruiserweight champion.
Yeah.
As short as it was, I would like to say it was probably it was a short run, but he made the most of it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I like Lio Rush's character now that he's not like with Bobby Lashley. He's just his own person.
And he's just his in-ring and his personality are shining through as him.
Their chemistry in this match worked really well. I thought it was definitely the match of the night, probably the match of the week. So then we moved into Cameron Grimes and Raul Mendoza. This match was not anything to write home about.
Showcase match for Grimes.
Yeah, Mendoza ended up getting the win, and Kushida ended up coming out and took Cameron Grimes' hat.
So that's what they're leading to. Cool.
Yep. Next, we had Travis Banks and Jackson Riker. Travis Banks being featured from NXT UK.
I was like, wow, Banks was in a stateside. Cool.
And Banks ended up getting the win over Riker. He hit him with like a crossbody from the top rope, and I think it really took Riker by surprise, and he got the pinfall and dipped because the Forgotten Sons were
on his ass.
Heels. Yeah. Dakota Kai versus Mia Yim in a grudge match. Mia Yim trying to get some revenge on Dakota Kai after what happened at Takeover and taking her out of that match. And Mia Yim really had the upper hand in the majority of this match. Dakota Kai ended up getting the win ultimately by pinfall, but then we see the two go out into the crowd, and Mia Yim set up a couple tables and proceeded to suplex Dakota Kai through the tables off of, I don't know, it was a few feet in the air. It was like on the sound stage. It was a cool spot. I'm a big Mia Yim fan.
I am too, and I'm also a big Dakota Kai fan as well. So.
Now that she's heel, yeah.
Is it just me or is the when women in NXT go heel, they just get a million times harder?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, because that's the same thing that I was thinking too.
Like, I've always had a crush for Io Shirai, but then when Io Shirai went heel, it was like, God damn it.
Even Asuka and Kairi
Sane. I'm like, and Kairi Sane is like one of my screensavers right on my phone right now. Kairi Sane. The other one is Hikaru Shida.
I don't know if it's the dark makeup that they use, or I don't know what it is, but there's just something about the women that when they turn heel, they're just hotter.
See, Kairi Sane, like her makeup now reminds me of Diva from Overwatch.
I know Overwatch. I can't really say I'm familiar with that, but my kid plays that.
Yeah, so. Like my screensaver is Hikaru Sane, and the front one is Hikaru Shida dressed as Chun-Li. So.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't think we're going to see the let me see that again.
See Hikaru Shida dressed as Chun-Li?
Nope, I don't see it.
Oh, well.
What a choice. That's awesome.
And there's Kyrie.
Yeah, I like that one. Whew. Anyway,
love my Joshi.
Yeah, I think this is the start of a pretty decent feud between the two of them. We had Breezango and the Singh brothers after this one, just another spotlight match. But it was okay. It wasn't a bad match at all. I think Breezango, their in-ring work is solid.
Well, they're great characters. They're both great singles competitors. They have great chemistry as a tag team.
Yeah.
And it's about time to get featured correctly.
I like that they come out as different characters every time.
Yeah, it's like Men at Work. Yeah. Like a Men at Work video every week.
But they make it work.
Yeah.
They make it work.
Well, they did construction workers, police officers. They did flight, runway, flight attendant.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The runway thing.
This week they were doctors.
Yeah, this week they were doctors.
And Beth Phoenix she said something like, they asked me if they could do a workup on me, and she really likes them. It just works.
Yeah, but I like the whole Men at Work thing that they're doing right now, gimmick they got going.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to explain a gimmick?
Village people?
No, they have not been Indian chiefs or firemen yet. And they can't be Indian chiefs because that'd be racist now.
Oh boy, let's not open that fucking can.
Yeah.
We had Bianca Belair and Caden Carter after that.
Showcase.
Yep, another showcase match. They're trying to, work up Caden Carter, but she really didn't do a whole lot in this match. Bianca Belair controlled most of it, getting the win. Tommaso Ciampa versus Keith Lee versus Finn Balor for the number one contendership for Adam Cole Baby's NXT Championship. This match, probably the second best match of the night.
Yeah, it's like Angel and Leo, they stole the show with that first one.
And this was another match that had good storytelling. It started off a little slow, which is totally fine. But but it built its way up, and it seemed like at a few points this match could go
anywhere,
and anybody could get the victory. Ultimately, Finn Balor getting the pin over Tommaso Ciampa. No,
get off Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, sorry. See, my bad.
Because Keith Lee hit the Spirit Bomb, and after Keith Lee hit the Ciampa with the Spirit Bomb, he hit the coup de grace right onto Lee.
Yep.
And pulled his legs over.
He kind of came out of nowhere, too. He was not in that match for a couple minutes and then just popped right in there. And, him and Adam Cole going back and forth, talking shit to each other a little bit. But ultimately, this week, NXT, Wednesday night, you know what? I take back what I said about them not getting over 1 million in the next 6 months. I think if they're going to do it, this might be the night because they've already got 2 huge matches. They've got Balor and Adam Cole for the NXT Championship, which for a lot of people, this is going to be a dream match. Then you have Shayna Baszler and my current favorite women's competitor, Rhea Ripley, for the NXT Women's Championship.
This is their last show of the year.
Is it?
No,
there'd be one more.
Oh, one more,
following
okay.
week. But yeah, man, these are 2 huge matches, and I think we could see one of those titles changing hands. I think if anything, we're going to see the women's title change hands. What do you think, Smitty? Tell me. What do you got?
I think this would be Rhea's first shot. I think that Portland shows where Shayna drops that title. That takeover Portland.
You think she'll hold it all the way until then?
Yeah.
You could be right. You could see a little bit of a controversial decision this week, and then they continue this feud all the way into that takeover, which is in February.
Yep, it's after the Rumble.
Yep. Yeah, I could see that.
That or you could see it change hands at Worlds Collide, which is on Royal Rumble weekend.
Yeah.
And they've already advertised Worlds Collide as NXT versus NXT UK.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could go either way. I think ratings-wise, if WWE was I don't.
If you want that shot in your ratings,
yeah.
What else times need to change hands?
It's tough, my gut reaction is let's do this now, but yeah, I mean maybe looking long term booking, you might consider extending this feud a little bit longer because they've only been feuding, for less than a month.
But see, this NXT is not Raw or SmackDown where they actually will drag out a feud.
Yeah.
Like you said, you mentioned like a Kushida, Cameron Grimes thing.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice little grudge match that you could probably see build up for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. Either way, I think NXT this week is just as I can't see them losing to AEW. AEW right now, they only have Jericho and Jungle Boy for their card this week.
Nope.
That I know of.
Nope. Because the main event led up to a match next week from AEW. They had the Texas Street fight between Pride and Powerful versus the Bucks.
All right, let's talk about AEW and then we'll get into that. So AEW results this
Moxley
week.
starts off with a squash.
I actually didn't even pull it up.
I get it right now. I remember the opening segment. Moxley starts off with Moxley with a squash, and then there's a promo with Jericho in the inner circle, crowd the ring, and they pretty much offer Moxley to join the inner circle.
And Moxley didn't really say a whole lot.
He didn't say nothing. He just stood there, and Jericho pretty much threw an inner circle shirt on his shoulder and backed up, and they all left.
Obviously, we're not going to see Moxley join the inner circle, but
at Revolution, you're going to see Moxley versus Jericho.
After this, we'll talk about Revolution in a minute. Cody and QT Marshall against the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny.
With the Bunny. That was a good match.
It was a good match, and actually, I think
QT Marshall got over.
Yeah, QT Marshall surprised a lot of people.
And the Blade and the Butcher got over too.
They did, and I like Butcher and Blade. I like that
The
gimmick.
tag finisher?
Yep, I like them with Bunny, Allie. I think that will work.
Okay, I'm a little kind of on the fence with the whole Bunny thing because, like, I know heel Bunny Allie, like I've watched her before, but it was just like it was just a random thing. Like after like she got her hair cut, she disappeared for like 2 weeks, and next thing you know, she comes back as the Bunny.
Yeah,
which is technically was her alter ego when she was a heel in Impact, where it was Demon Bunny with her and Rosemary.
Okay.
So I know about the Bunny character. This is just this is like the Bunny character reinvented with the Blade and the Butcher, which is cool. Like I'm not against it. I'm just like the timing of putting out like of Allie right now was kind of throwing me off with it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. I'm not familiar with Bunny and Impact like that, so I don't know. To me, I'm on board with it.
Was like I'm on board with it. It was like just the timing issue is what bothered me here.
After the match, we saw Cody laid out on the outside of the ring, and Darby Allin.
Oh, that's another match next week too.
Coming out to
help him
up.
That's another match they set up too for next week.
So Darby and Cody
versus Butcher and Blade.
That should be sweet.
And then MJF cut a promo after that. So MJF could be like he has no friends left in this industry. Blah blah.
I got it pulled up now.
Okay, sorry.
Nope, you're good. MJF, came out, cut a really good promo with what the fuck is his name? Wardlow in his corner.
I finally got to say his name right.
He's accepting Cody's challenge, but there is a stipulation that he's going to set, which we are going to find out what that is on January 1st on the Dynamite episode.
For New Year's Day.
For New Year's Day. So, I mean, a lot of people think that this might be a little too soon for this whole feud.
With MJF and Cody?
With MJF and Cody.
No, I don't think it's too soon. I think like they putting enough buffer in there. I won't even say fodder with Butcher, Blade, and Buddy because after seeing what happened with QT Marshall this week, I can see a lot of potential of like Cody teaming up with these guys and raising their stock in general.
Yeah,
and in this MJF thing, they're going to. It's not like they're not just having one match. These guys are going to have like a blood feud.
Yeah, which I like.
And that blood feud is going to last at least maybe 4 or 5 months.
We could finally see a huge payoff, maybe Double or Nothing too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, at this point, like, I don't think it's too soon if they play the cards right.
After this, we had Big Swole and Emi Sakura.
They actually had a really good one too.
They did. For me, the women's division, when you see these women's matches, they're not as clean and fluid as some of the women's matches you see on other promotions. I think they're still trying to build their chemistry because they're trying to feature a lot of different women.
Yeah, they're trying to build the roster. They're trying to build up the roster.
Which it's not to say that it's a bad thing. They're just not as smooth and fluid. They're a little choppy, and the matches are still good, but a little lackluster. But yeah, Big Swole ended up getting the win over Emi Sakura. Big Swole is pretty over with the crowd.
And then Emi Sakura's great. She's a great in-ring veteran, and they have her in the company right now, where she'll take a win here and there, but she's mostly helping try to get all these other talents over.
Right.
Like she did a really good job with making Rio look like $1 million at Full Gear. Her match with Hikaru Shida was really good a couple weeks ago, and in the tag match she had with her and Bea Priestley and her and Bea Priestley versus Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander.
Yep.
Like she's in a perfect. Like they're using her perfectly in AEW.
Yeah. Do you think enough people are familiar with Sakura for her to be considered as somebody who's helping the younger talent get over? Like, does it matter?
Well, people like me who watch a lot, I love my Joshi, love my Japanese women. So from my standpoint, like as long as I've been watching Japanese women's wrestling, That's where my opinion comes from.
Yeah.
But also the AEW commentary, whenever she's in the ring, they like to bring up how much of a veteran she is.
And that was my next point, and I'm glad you said that because that, to me, is what helps. Because not only is she helping the talent get over, but the commentary, they're helping the audience understand who she is. Every time she comes out, they make mention of the fact that she's a veteran.
24 years
She's
in the game.
been around the world. She's fought all different types of women and had all these matches to build up their knowledge, which is they did a little bit better of a job of that this week, especially with Butcher, Bunny, and the Blade. And
The commentary's been getting a lot better on
they've been
AEW.
getting a lot better.
Here's another thing that just got late too. Well, it got not really late. So AEW Dark has been doing this thing where they have a special guest commentator every week during this upcoming AEW Dark. Vicky Guerrero is going to be on commentary for AEW Dark.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
So yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And now the speculation is she going to sign with AEW or is she going to? I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think it's going to be one of those one-offs like they did with Taz.
Yeah, just a one-time thing.
And I think that's cool, and that's one of the few things that keeps me watching AEW Dark.
Yeah.
It's not just the fact that they like to intertwine the AEW Dark storyline into the Dynamite storyline and lead up and everything. But I think that's really cool. One thing they do.
Okay. We did have Hangman Page, Kenny Omega against Kip Sabian and Shawn Spears. This match was another pretty solid match. Later on during the match, Joey Janela ended up kidnapping Tully Blanchard. The lights went out, and then all of a sudden, Tully was tied up
in the chair
at the top of the ramp, and Joey Janela had a sick, sadistic laugh, and Shawn Spears came to his aid, and then ultimately that helped Hangman and Kenny Omega getting the win over Kip Sabian. Now, what was interesting in this is that Kenny Omega was pretty much in control of the match towards the end, and there was a blind tag from Page, and he came in and buckshot lariat.
1, 2, 3.
And got the win. And Kenny just kind of looked at him like, really?
Fuck it, we won.
He's like, all right, okay, yeah, we'll take it. Is that leading into something?
Yes, but that's more so you have to be like watching Being the Elite. More so. Because Adam Page is he's resigned from the Elite.
Yep.
He is no longer a part of the Elite. Commentators once again have they mentioned that. I think it's going to lead to a feud with Omega and Page. Because they got them teaming together next week. And I think eventually they're going to be trying to one up each other, and it's going to lead to an actual feud.
Okay, I like it.
It is good storytelling. And once again, I kind of suggested with the Cody and MJF thing. They're starting to do that with Janela and Spears.
Yeah.
Janela and Spears have already had a match, and Janela and Spears they're carrying on their feud right now. They're carrying on that feud after that match.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job. I think they're doing a good job with it. They're using Tully Blanchard, and this whole tag match, Tully Blanchard they gave him like little box was like, I made my name in tag team wrestling, and I think Kip Sabian is probably like Tully put Kip over and said, let's see if he fits, and maybe him and Shawn could be the best tag team ever.
Well, another one of those we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I do like these little storylines that they're starting to slowly build and plant seeds for, and extend it as long as they can and kind of drag them out and really put together a good story. And I like that. After that, we had Luchasaurus and Sammy Guevara. Luchasaurus,
the Spanish God. And Jericho was on commentary. Jericho and Hager were on commentary for that one.
And Jericho would ask Hagar to, comment, and he would basically comment for him. So Hagar didn't really say shit.
I love the fact that he kicked Marvez and Excalibur off of commentary. Like, get out of here! Like, tell me I don't know what a lexicon is.
Luchasaurus ended up getting the win, and then we had a Texas Street fight with the Young Bucks and Santana Ortiz to close out the night.
Fucking spot fest, but it looked like it hurt.
Yeah, it definitely was a spot fest, which I know there's some people that are a little bit over that whole thing. Doesn't bother me.
Mikey.
Yeah. I wasn't going to name names, but it doesn't bother me because
when it's a street fight or something like that, I don't mind a spot fest for these kind of no holds barred type matches.
It was a good match. It was a little chaotic, and it was everything that you expected it to be for a Texas street fight. The Young Bucks getting the victory in the end. So now you were saying that this is setting up for a match this week.
So this week, they are at the stipulation that whoever won that match gets a shot at SCU next week.
SCU.
So SCU versus the Bucks for the tag titles next week.
Okay, yep, I remember now. Now I remember.
So AEW's match card they have set thus far is Darby Allin and Cody versus the Blade and the Butcher. You have Jungle Boy versus Chris Jericho. You have SCU versus the Bucks for the tag titles.
Okay.
And you probably have, and those are the only 3 matches I think they have announced at this point.
I forgot that was ultimately
and they have Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander for number 1 contender for Rio.
Okay.
Because apparently Hikaru Shida, after losing to Chris Statlander getting a win on Dark, shot her to number 2. And
Hikaru Shida was number 2.
No, she was number 1. She's number 3 now.
She dropped to number 2. Okay.
And Britt Baker is number 1, and Statlander's number 2.
Okay. Well, another cut and dry AEW power ranking.
Once again, that's another reason I feel like people need to start watching Dark too, because they're trying to make Dark. They're literally trying to make Dark matter.
Hey,
AEW Dark matters.
Dark matter.
AEW Dark matters.
All right. Well, so ultimately, I think it was a pretty solid week across the board, with the exception of Raw. Raw was kind of a shit fest. AEW and NXT, they tied in the ratings. I thought both shows were really good. I think NXT had the edge there. We had good pay-per-views. Now, to close out the week, we have TLC tonight. Tables, ladders, clits, chairs.
A couple of our mates are going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings downtown.
Tonight, we will have a viewing party. If you are in the area, if you're not, come anyway. Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's what she said.
On Randolph Street in downtown Detroit. 6 o'clock start time. Pay-per-view starts at 7. Get downtown. There's drink specials. Some of the guys from Breaking Down the Ring are going to be there.
Knockouts 3 Counts.
Knockouts and 3 Counts podcast. Devin was in town. Is he still?
I don't know.
Okay.
I take Scott and figure out.
I unfortunately will not be there. I've got a whole sick fucking family. I hope to God I don't get it. I just was sick not that long ago, like 2 months or so ago. I don't want to get it again. So I'm hoping that doesn't fucking happen, but we'll see. Anyway, TLC is tonight. We've got a match card that was...
Oh, PW scorecard. Let's put them over all year here. Get yours.
Huh?
Say, get your pro wrestling scorecards.
Well, so the match card, yes, on Pro Wrestling Scorecards, if you have the chance, print out on ProWrestlingScorecards.com. You can print out tonight's card. You can play along with us. If you were at our last Buffalo Wild Wings viewing party for Survivor Series and you played along with Pro Wrestling Scorecards, you would have received a beta code. You can go to digital.ProWrestlingScorecards.com, enter that beta code, and you can do the scorecard from your phone, your tablet, your PC, whatever. Easier than printing, if you ask me. I can't wait for them to make this whole platform go live to the general public. But definitely go check it out because you can get on there and do your picks. You can see our picks. You can see where we stand. You can end up playing against us, see if you can beat us. Our current Ring Crew champion, El Nazd.
I believe he unmasked, did he not?
He did unmask, but he is still our Ring Crew champion. And with the only pay-per-view for the month of December, all the cards are on the fucking table tonight. So we will see if he can defend his title and keep his streak going into 2020.
And look, I'm shooting for my first title win of 2019. I have not held the Ring Crew Championship all this year.
And it's probably not going to happen tonight. Did you fill out your card?
Yes, I did.
All right, so let's get into it.
I filled out last night.
Tonight's TLC pay-per-view. While it was put together in a little bit of a chaotic fashion.
It was slapped together.
3 weeks between pay-per-views to me isn't enough time to build any kind of viable storyline. There are no titles on the line tonight, with the exception of tag team championships. There's no Universal, no Women's, no...
it's all tag championships.
24/7 championship is always on the line. I don't really look at that as being defended tonight because we may or may not see it. But we do have the WWE Women's Championship TLC, Women's Tag Team Championship TLC match, the Kabuki Warriors champions against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. A TLC match with Roman Reigns and King Corbin. We've got Bray Wyatt and The Miz. We've got Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy. Rusev and Bobby Lashley in a tables match, which tables matches to me in today's day and age is kind of lame. Because it's just, you can just call it a table match. You're only going to use it once. First person to put somebody through a table. Big fucking deal. Everybody goes through a table.
But here's the, you got to put it through a table. There could be the whole incident where somebody accidentally puts himself through a table.
This is true. We have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the New Day and the Revival.
It's a ladder match.
A ladder match. I love me a good ladder match. And then the Raw Tag Team Championship match with the Viking Raiders Open Challenge. So we don't have a ton of time left, so we're not going to dive into it too much. But Smitty, we're going to start with you as soon as I pull up my scorecard, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw my text, but you can re-add your stuff.
I did.
You did? Okay, perfect.
I did that this morning. I filled out the cart last night.
Okay. So, prediction-wise, first match. Roman Reigns and Corbin. Who you got?
Roman wins, LOL.
And then, do you have it pulled up? Do you know what your stipulations like?
I can pull it up real quick.
While you're pulling it up, I have Roman Reigns by pinfall, 2 Superman punches, 2 tables destroyed, and there will be outside interference. Again, ProWrestlingScorecards.com, it really adds a different type of flavor to the pay-per-views. Not just picking winners and losers, but picking, side bets for each match to see who's going to get pinned by whom, or how many tables will be destroyed, or how many weapons, or how many, like this one, Superman punches, or, who jacks off who, something like that. It's
not coming up. But I have Roman winning. I think I had like 2 Superman punches, 2 tables.
Okay. SmackDown Tag Team Championship. New Day versus the Revival.
New Day.
I've got the Revival going over. I'm a little hesitant now, but I got to stick with my gut because every time I hear one of you guys pick somebody else, I'm like, oh, maybe I should change it, and that always bites me in the ass.
See, I got New Day because they need to give Kofi something.
Yeah.
Even if the Revival go over, I'm like, really? You're doing this one thing that a lot of people say you shouldn't do with Kofi after he loses that title. Send him back to mid-card mediocrity.
I don't know. We could see it. I do like your point with giving Kofi something to do and making... I mean, the tag team championships, there's not that much importance.
Vince don't give a shit about tag teams.
Right.
And honestly, the tag team titles on SmackDown, outside of putting them on a New Day, even if you do put them on a Revival, they're going to lose value because they don't care about the Revival. You do care somewhat about the New Day.
Yeah.
Keep those titles relevant as long as you can.
And New Day is very much over, as they have been for a long time. So, yeah.
They're WWE's tag team of the decade.
Yeah. I might have to change my pick that we're talking about more because I like to try and go through it fast because if I think about it too much, then I end up, it ends up getting destroyed and I get fucked. Raw Tag Team Championship, Viking Raiders versus an unannounced team. Who is going to challenge the Viking Raiders?
OC.
I have Akam and Razor. AOP.
The reason I'm saying they won't be them, because if they do that and they rush those titles on AOP, they're doing the same thing they did to American Alpha, where they ran, like pretty much they wear buckshot and threw the titles on them, and what do you do from there?
Yeah. Well, and then you have the leader of their group, Seth Rollins.
And you know what those titles are?
Title.
See, then those titles just sit there.
Yeah.
Doing nothing.
Okay. So I'm glad we're talking about this. Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy.
Black.
I've got Black, pinfall, 5 aerial moves, 12-minute match time. The Women's Tag Team Championship match, the Kabuki Warriors against Charlotte and Becky Lynch.
I got the Kabuki Warriors because you get they're looking really good right now. What better way to have them to go over on the two biggest women in a match that pretty much this will be the biggest one of both of their careers since coming up to the main roster.
I think that we could see, definitely. I've got Kabuki Warriors too. I think we might see another Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair feud. They've been kind of hinting at it, and then we'll have that payoff at the Royal Rumble, because then you're going to end up leading one of those two in the main event. Well, not the main event, possibly, but at WrestleMania defending the title. I think you definitely want Charlotte or Becky in that picture at WrestleMania. So. We've got Rusev versus Lashley in a table match.
I got Rusev.
Rusev Rudria. Rusev Machka.
I think Lana takes a table bump too, but but I think she takes an accidental table bump from Lashley.
I also have Rusev going over in this one. I think it could be, more of like a Lashley puts himself through a table on accident type deal.
No, I think that Lashley accidentally puts Lana through a table.
That would be great. Big payoff right there.
And then Rusev actually puts him through. And then from there, let's just end this damn feud.
Bray Wyatt and The Miz.
I said The Miz wins this one.
I actually have Bray Wyatt.
I have The Miz winning because I think it's going to lead to The Miz versus The Fiend at Rumble.
Okay. That's not a bad thing. And then, so you think we won't see Daniel Bryan back anytime soon?
No.
Unscheduled appearances.
I have the Street Profits. I have OC, AJ Styles, and I forgot who I had the last one. Well, that's 5 right there.
I've got the Street Profits, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and Maurice. Bless you. Dabbing again?
Huh?
Dabbing again? Almost. So yeah, again, if you have the chance, definitely go to digital.prowrestlingscorecards.com. If you have the beta code, we've given out a lot of them to people that were filling out the cards at the last show. I know we handed out a lot of them at StarCast. If you haven't entered the digital beta yet, do it. I'm telling you.
Do it now.
It only takes a couple minutes. It's free to do. You don't get spam from these guys. They're not going to bombard you and sell your email address to people. So it's
I got to download porn. It's not porn.
No, man, and it's really simple to do. It just takes a couple minutes. Or, I mean, if you don't have the digital beta code, that's all right. You can still go to ProWrestlingScorecards.com and print out the card and fill it out yourself. Print out 20 of them and pass them out to a bunch of fucking people. Have your own party, and, the winner gets, I don't know, something on Smitty'sMeats.com. Something.
It's good meat.
Yeah, it's real good meat, especially around the holidays. But at any rate, we will be at Buffalo Wild Wings tonight for TLC.
Tender love and care.
El Nas defending his Breaking Down the Ring championship tonight. Will he or will he not be victorious to close out the year of 2019? We shall see. Also, I think it was last week, the week before, Breaking Down the Ring released some brighter colors on BreakingDownTheRing.com for our T-shirts and hoodies. So if you're not so into the darker stuff, you
racist bastards.
I knew that was coming. Walked right into it. You can get yourself a white Breaking Down the Ring shirt with the black logo on the top of it. I'm stressing these words purposely. You can get pink, you can get purple, you can get, really any color that you can think of, you can get on there. I'm currently wearing, which I received yesterday, my new Breaking Down the Ring hoodie. Very comfortable. It's good stuff, man. It feels good on my skin. There was one other thing that I thought I was going to mention, but
do it.
You know what? There is one thing, and this is in regard to TLC. With there only being tag team championships scheduled and no singles championships, A, is this a bad thing? B, is this an attempt to focus more on the tag team division?
It's a farce to make you. I think this is something that accidentally came up.
Okay.
It's the thing was one thing is I don't think they meant to focus on tag teams except those women's tag team titles. Because if you look at the tag division, you had way more time to build anything in the tag division. You've not done anything for almost how long now? When was the last time those tag titles meant anything on any of those shows?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Yep.
I say the accidental focus on the women's side, like the focus on those tag team women's titles, and that's the only reason they put focus on it because two of your biggest women on your entire roster are going for them at this point.
Yep.
Everything else has been one-offs.
I think, again, it's a happy accident.
It's a farce.
I do like that there will be some focus on the tag titles tonight.
I do too, but it's not.
I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing that there's no singles titles being defended because typically on these in-between pay-per-views, you don't really see them change hands anyway. Typically. You're not You're not doing anything with Brock Lesnar. You're not really doing anything with The Fiend as far as, the title is concerned. The United States Championship, Ray's already beaten AJ Styles a couple times. He beat him once for the title, beat him in the rematch. You don't have anybody for him. This is the reason why I don't like the fact that they put these pay-per-views back to back to back to back to back. Okay, so now you have one tonight. You had Survivor Series 3 weeks ago, which you were already building Survivor Series related storylines, so there was no time to build any type of singles storylines for any of those titles. Not to say, not
Believe
even
it or not, though, in that Survivor Series storyline, you could have easily started building some of that.
You could have, and they didn't. And then you have a little bit of a storyline with the tag team titles, just a little bit. Honestly, they could do without this pay-per-view. Jump from one Big Four pay-per-view to the next, just between Survivor Series and Rumble. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but you also know it's like, what is it? NWA, they just had theirs on Saturday, and their next one is not till January. They're taking a month off. Impact, Bound for Glory was back like about a week or two after Labor Day, and then their next one is not till January.
Yeah,
and Hard to Kill is in January. Even AEW, you had Full Gear in November. The next one is not till February.
It seems like they're going quarter to quarter.
Yeah, so it is WWE's oversaturation of pay-per-views or network specials. I think it's hurting them when it comes to story build. Instead of building story, they're trying to just put something out there.
I completely agree, honestly, and I do like, I don't mind having a pay-per-view every 4 or 5 weeks. It's still not ideal. I would much rather it be the old school way where it felt like, and I was a kid, so I didn't have as much patience as I do now as an adult, but it felt like it took forever to go from WrestleMania to SummerSlam. But there was so much time to build storylines in between because all you had was Big Four. When I like in the early 90s.
Or even in the Attitude Era, when you first started doing like pay-per-views monthly, you had enough, you were doing enough with your talent to where you could build enough stories where not everybody had not the same guys were on every pay-per-view.
Right. And it did feel, especially like I think about Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels when Shawn Michaels threw him through the barbershop window. And I don't recall how long it was in between that time and when Marty Jannetty came through the crowd back. I felt like it was damn near a year. But it created so much build because I honestly, and again, I was a kid, but I forgot that even happened. And then you see Marty Jannetty come out of the crowd and you're like, Holy shit! It is.
Oh, you're
coming
talking
to
about
a
that
head.
Monday Night Raw when he won the IC title.
And it all came to a head. Like now it's like, okay, well, this happened, and then we skip it for a week, but then it continues a week later. Like I need time for it to the slow build, the slow burn. I like.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels became a single star, and Jannetty comes out the crowd out of nowhere.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. To each his own. I know they're not going to just resort to only having 4 pay-per-views a year. I know they're not going to end up cutting any pay-per-views out, but I think they need to consider their dates a little more. I think they could have. I know that it's Christmas weekend next weekend. I don't want to hear it because you used to have pay-per-views on Thanksgiving Eve. You would have Survivor Series. It's Thanksgiving Eve. You could put TLC 3 days before Christmas. Who fucking cares? It's a Sunday night. People still have to work. A lot of people still have to work the next day the same way. I mean, I don't know. I think there just needed to be an extra week to have that build, and you'd still have a whole another month between that and Royal Rumble. You got to have at least 4 weeks.
See, and I think that's another reason I feel like TLC this year is a super throwaway. I think they're really about to start building toward the Rumble.
Yeah, well,
you have to at this point.
And immediately, because I think that there's, okay, so for TLC, you had the Survivor Series, and then you had the Aftermath. And then you had the following week, there was still really nothing being said about TLC, other than the fact that it's coming. But you didn't have hardly any matches. That's another one. You didn't really have any matches that were building for TLC. These storylines have been developed over the past week and a half.
Okay, I have to retract and say the one thing they have been building for toward TLC since Survivor Series is Roman versus Corbin. But Roman versus Corbin has been going on pretty much since the draft.
Yeah, and that's the one thing they got.
And it's not a good story.
No, I'm over it. Well, and Lana and Rusev and Bobby Lashley, that's been going on for a little while, but
the story that they are trying to make long term are shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people just want Lana, Rusev, and Lashley to be fucking done.
Same thing
with Corbin.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Hopefully it all comes to a head tonight. I'm still looking forward to the pay-per-view because WWE has a tendency to have shit in between pay-per-views, but their pay-per-views come off without a hitch. They're usually
solid.
Very solid, if not very good. But I think other than that, we're done. We're it. I mean, we are your ring crew.
Schmitty.
And I am Nick. And we will see you next fucking week. We are out.
Bye-bye.